Imagine unexplained shrieks piercing the dead of night, so intense they shatter the silence and freeze the blood of anyone who hears them. A father wakes up to the horrifying sensation of being essayed by a demon. A loyal family dog yanked and slammed against a wall by an unseen force, its body thrown violently as if gripped by invisible hands, blood inexplicably smeared across the walls of a quiet suburban home. These aren't scenes from a slasher flick. This was the nightmare that engulfed the Smurl family in 1986 in the small town of West Pittston, Pennsylvania. What began as strange noises and flickering lights soon escalated into a relentless siege by something dark and malevolent. But unlike many haunted house tales whispered over campfires, this wasn't just family lore or urban legend. This was documented, investigated, and endured by an ordinary family caught in the grip of supernatural terror. Jack and Janet Smurl moved into their duplex in 1973, hoping to raise their family in peace. For years, their lives were normal until the darkness came creeping in. It started subtly. The smell of sulfur, that rotten egg stench long associated with brimstone and hellfire, wafted inexplicably through the house. Then came the oddities, light flickering without cause, doors slamming shut on their own, and sudden cold spots that sent chills crawling down their spines. But the real horror began when their German shepherd Simon was violently thrown against a wall by an invisible force. That was no coincidence. It was a terrifying declaration that the evil in the house was not just playful spirits or mischief, but something brutal and violent. The attacks only intensified over time. Heavy furniture dragged itself across the floor when no one was home. Sharp objects hurtled through the air like guided missiles. The Smurl daughters, Shannon and Angela, felt phantom hands grip and scratch at them in the dead of the night. Jack Smurl suffered the most harrowing trauma, reporting waking up to being essayed by an unseen demon, an attack that left physical marks and emotional scars. This was no ordinary haunting. It was an assault on a family's very existence, an invasion of their home and their souls by something sinister beyond understanding. Desperate, the Smurls called on every form of help they could find. Local clergy came to bless and cleanse the home, but the evil only grew. One priest tasked with performing an exorcism reportedly fled the house, overwhelmed by the oppressive darkness. Neighbors began to avoid the Smurl home, whispering about strange noises, terrifying screams, and shadows moving behind curtained windows. The story eventually caught the attention of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the most famous paranormal investigators of their era. Ed, a self-taught demonologist, and Lorraine, a clairvoyant and medium, had built a reputation investigating some of America's most notorious hauntings, including the famous Amityville case. When they arrived in West Pittston, they were met with something even darker than they had expected. From the moment they stepped inside the Smurl home, the Warrens sensed a malevolent presence so dense and suffocating it pressed down on their chests. They identified not one, but 4 spirits inhabiting the house, ranging from an innocent elderly woman and a violent young girl to a tragic man who died there. But dominating them all was a dark, intelligent demon orchestrating the chaos and tormenting the family.
It's very powerful. It's invisible. I don't care if you want to call it a devil or a ghost or a demon. There's something in this home which has the intelligence to inflict physical and psychological harm upon this family.
The Warrens' investigation revealed chilling phenomena. Sudden temperature drops plunging rooms into icy cold, heavy furniture flying across rooms as if thrown by invisible fists, and dark, shapeless masses appearing before witnesses, pressing down with an oppressive energy they threatened to crush. Despite numerous attempts at exorcisms and cleaning rituals, the demon grew stronger and more violent, seemingly feeding off the family's fear and suffering. The screams echoing through the house, the shattered glass, and physical assaults made it clear that this was no simple haunting. It was a war waged by a supernatural evil intent on breaking the family. The Smurls endured years of terror, their home transformed into a battleground between light and darkness. They courageously shared their story publicly, hoping to raise awareness and find peace, even as the nightmares haunted them long after they left West Pittston. Their ordeal was chronicled in their book, The Haunted: One Family's Nightmare, which detailed the unimaginable horrors they lived through. It was later adapted into a TV movie bringing their story to a wider audience, though nothing could fully capture the raw fear and trauma they experienced firsthand. Janet Smurl later revealed that even years after moving away, she could still hear faint knocking and catch glimpses of shadows lurking just beyond her sight, proof that the scars left by evil are not always visible, but linger deep in the soul. The Warrens' involvement added to their glowing legacy as America's most renowned paranormal investigators, further cementing their place in pop culture. Their work with the Smurls, alongside other cases like the Perron family's haunting, which inspired the Conjuring films, and the Amityville Horror, has shaped how we perceive the paranormal in modern times, blending documented investigations with chilling storytelling that blurs the lines between fact and legend. What sets the Smurl case apart is the sheer violence and darkness of the haunting, but also its documentation. Multiple witnesses, including clergy and neighbors, verified strange and terrifying events. The Warrens recorded their findings and experiences in detailed notes and audio recordings, adding a layer of credibility rare in paranormal cases. Culturally, the Smurl haunting taps into deep fears, the vulnerability of the home, the sanctity of family, and the presence of unseen evil lurking just beneath the surface of normal life. It reminds us that sometimes the most horrifying stories aren't just confined to fiction. They live on in the shadows of real places, real families, and real pain. Now, decades later, The Conjuring: Last Rites will bring the Smurl case back into the spotlight, promising to reveal the darkest depths of this haunting and the Warrens' desperate battle to save a family trapped in hell on Earth. The film is set to be one of the most chilling entries in the Conjuring universe. As we prepare to watch, it's worth remembering when it comes to true terror, the past never truly dies. It waits, watches, and sometimes it strikes again.